Hello, everyone. Welcome to Small Biz Tips. So, I have someone here today that I'm super excited for. Actually, we got connected through someone else that I met when I went to South by Southwest. So, I'm excited to have her here. Teasha, what's up?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm amazing. Thank you for
That's great.
jumping on. So,
Sure.
before we jump and talk about your greatness, who is Teasha?
Okay, great question. So I am Teasha Cable. I'm CEO of and co-founder of a company called CModel Data, and we do decision intelligence. So we utilize artificial intelligence, the decision intelligence framework
Mhm.
that uses causal inference and your own data in order to help business leaders navigate difficult,
Huh.
complex, growth-related decisions.
Interesting. All right. So before we even get that, because AI is a big buzzword nowadays, right? So I'm really curious to hear about this process. But how did you even get into this?
Yeah. So I spent about 25 years now, I just keep adding up the years, as an operator. So I used to
Mm,
build operational infrastructures for growth stage companies. So everything from being a VP of business operations, I've been a VP
yeah.
of business development and product strategy, and I've also been a VP of revenue operations.
Okay.
And it was in these roles that I would go out and I would work and identify that we needed to forecast accurately. That's it.
Yeah.
That's where I started. And then I went and consulted and helped companies to build their forecast accurately. And what I found was that it wasn't forecasting, wasn't about actually the numbers and the
Mm,
algorithms and the spreadsheets. It was really about what are people doing, and the difference between what they say they're going to do and what they actually do ends up making
mm.
a difference in the numbers all the time. So I wanted
Huh.
to focus on decision making that got you to what are you going to do to achieve your outcomes, and why are you doing that?
Interesting. All right. I
Yeah.
want to go. I'm curious, right? Because when someone is starting a business, you hear the term, what you're forecasting, what your projected revenue, what those numbers look like, right? And what I'm hearing is you're saying that sometimes people will say an outlandish thing, but it really comes down to what do they do. So is that like, how did you come up and say, you know what? Instead of being a consultant, I'm gonna be a tech startup founder and actually do like when did that mindset shift happen for you?
Yeah, so when I started to think about growth and scale for myself, like when I
Okay.
wanted to go from serving, 3 to 5 companies as a consultant a year and working
Mhm.
my job, right? What could I do to grow and scale? Well, technology grows and scales quickly. So I
Yeah.
needed what I understand, built a knowledge base. And the technology I had is a series of algorithms and things that we had written, and then stuck those into technology and said we're going to use that. And then
Mm.
artificial intelligence, we were already building using it, but really extending it to generative AI once that became a thing. So it was really growth and scale, which is the central piece of what we do. I want
Mm.
to help companies grow and scale. And if we recognize that we're all on a journey to our vision, for
Yeah.
example, right, then let's grow and scale to the vision. So we're not going to grow and scale to meet like the challenges of today, but let's grow and scale to the vision you set for this company, and we're here to provide a system of tools and frameworks to help you do that.
Now, here's the thing. You have someone who just started a business,
Mhm.
2 months ago. They're getting a little bit of traction. They're like, yeah, I'm ready to scale. What does grow and scale actually mean?
Okay, so that's a great question. So let's start with every company identifies at a stage of growth from their beginning. So you can
Okay.
be an existence stage company, you can be a survival stage company. At some point you hit success, and it's at the point of success where you've got product market fit, where you can actually go and pour gasoline on it and grow at a much, much more extensive
Uh,
pace. Then you go into being a growth stage company, and eventually you mature. And
okay.
there's a set of strategies and challenges and opportunities that exist for every company along that trajectory. And if you're a sustainable growth company versus an exponential growth company, you hit those challenges at different times. And
Hmm.
so these are all things that exist in the world. I'm not making it up, right? And so our goal is to help you to make it from being an existence stage
Uh-huh.
company to a mature organization. And we know that that doesn't happen for 90% of the companies that get started.
Question. Existence stage, right?
Yeah.
What does that look like? Is it from revenue wise? When do you know you go from existence to survival, from survival to, that stability and that growth? Like, what are revenue wise that, because if I'm a small business, I'm listening to this, I'm like, okay, how do I know what stage I'm in?
Yes, you call CModel so that you can get an assessment. So what happens is there's a certain, your profile at the existence stage is really, maybe you've got an MVP of some sort in your core function, or your service that you provide is at least outlined and may function for one or two people, right? You're
Okay.
very, small level. You've got some metrics that you can measure at that stage. You want to understand who your customer is. You've got a mission and a
Gotcha.
vision,
So
your
you like
value.
under 100K a year minimum.
Oh, for sure. And when you
Okay.
think about it, it's not even so the dollar. So when you think about what I'm talking about, it's there's your profile looks a certain way, your
Okay.
product looks a certain way. Your revenues are it's not necessarily the guiding factor, right? It's
Hmm.
all about what kinds of problems and challenges you're facing. Like, are you trying to get some sort of funding? Are you struggling for resources? Are you trying to build your customer base? Like, I have no customers and I'm trying to expand
Gotcha.
my customers, versus when you get to the next phase, now I've got customers. I'm constantly trying to build loyalty in those customers, right?
The
I'm
survival
adapting my
stage.
strategies, right? I'm trying to operate more efficiently at
Gotcha. So that's
the
when
phase, right?
systems come in. That's
It's
when they need you.
exactly. That's right. I've got certain people in my company and certain people I don't have. And when you think about a small business, you really can't measure a small business by revenue, because you can have a very mature company that only makes $100,000 a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
that
true.
that might be where they are. But that company can decide that they want to grow. You might be mature, right? But you might also want to create new products. You may be wanting to innovate, hire people. The owner may be deciding they want to walk away from being the lead
Gotcha.
of the business all the time. So they've got to grow the expertise in their organization to match their level of understanding of their domain. So there's multiple levels of growth or scale that can exist in a
Okay.
company, specifically a small business.
All right.
Yeah.
From what I'm hearing is
Yeah.
survival existential stage is okay, figuring out the product market fit, the service. Do people actually want this? Is it something they're gonna buy? Or are you getting people paying you to buy it from you, right? Now, when you bypass that, the survival stage, now you have a group of customers that's paying you every month or that you're consistently serving, or that's buying your product consistently. It
Right.
How do you keep that stable? Do you need to hire somebody to service that customer, right? So you're not doing everything yourself. And then
That's right.
the next stage is, okay, I'm ready to grow this. Maybe I need to put another product line, or maybe I need to double down on the product that I have now because I maybe want to take it to 1 million, to 5 million, right? So that's the growth stage.
That's
And, and then from that growth stage, what's the next after that?
So I go from success. I can be specific with you, right?
Yes.
So when I get to success, my product is mature and I've got some, market leader, and it's my differentiation is super
Okay.
clear. Right. And then when I get to the growth stage, now I'm ready to expand. I'm going to do a lot more. I'm going to make a lot of investments, right,
Mm-hmm.
in that expansion. And then when I'm mature, that's when sustainability happens. That's
Gotcha.
when now it's innovation time, right? How am I innovating on this in
Yeah.
ways that give me more security
So you're not
in
comfortable, right? How do you go from that comfort level? Oh, I'm making, $10 million a year. I'm comfortable to
my
maybe I need to start innovating so I don't die.
So I describe the strategies at those levels as in existence, I'm validating and
Mm-hmm.
surviving. At survival, it's growth and traction.
Mm-hmm.
And at success, it's market leadership and expansion. And at the growth stage, it's scalability and diversification. And when I get to the mature stage, sustainability and innovation. And all those things means that's what the strategy is sort of guided on at those stages.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. So where does your company and those AI making decision model come in for that entrepreneur? When do they should think about, we need to talk to this person and check out their product?
You should talk to me as early as you can, because the
Okay.
first thing we want to do is make sure that you've got a solid core strategy. You know exactly who you are and who you're going to be selling to. So before you even take your first step, we can help. And then we'll
Mm,
grow along with you, right? So
mm,
then by the time you get to the survival stage and you're trying to manage growth and traction, you need to be able to look at your cash flow. You need to understand your financial stability. You need to be able to move and shake, right, in your decision making quickly. So our recommendation engine becomes a very powerful, like, what do I do to achieve
gotcha.
outcomes? What does a plan look like for this quarter? For my company, what's my current state? Can I take a look at my data sources? Right. I can't. I don't have money for a consultant, but
Yeah.
our Tora is a consultant in your pocket because she has a
Interesting.
knowledge base, right, that has information
Huh.
to do.
I
Yeah.
want to take it a step further, right? Because, I want people to kind of envision this. So, or they're talking to your platform and the platform is replying to them. That's what the AI does. And they're telling, hey, yeah, is there a name or nickname? Let's say the AI is named Sarah. Hey, Sarah, here is where I'm at in the business. What should I be doing now? Is that how that works?
Her name is Cora, and yeah, and so
Okay.
yeah, her name is Cora, and so what happens is you come in and you give Cora information about who you are, right, and
Mm-hmm.
she tracks that context, and then whenever you open the application, she's there to say, hey, I know you, I know about your company,
Wow.
and then the question is, so what problem or challenge are you trying to solve today? Because we're very problem centric. And then if you've got a problem explaining that problem, then she starts
Yeah.
asking questions to help you identify what
Wow.
that problem is. And then she takes that problem and enables you to create a set of outcomes that you want to achieve from that problem. And then she builds up a decision guide for you that
Go.
has that problem, that has your outcomes, and then a set of recommended actions that you can then weigh whether or not you should take one of those actions. And then as you take those actions, she wants you to update and say, hey, how is that strategy going? How is that working? And then your responsibility is to say it's going like this. And then she produces a set of insights, or
Mm,
helps you to produce a set of insights that become your retrospective. So you can look back and then you can
mm-hmm.
constantly go through a flow of change. And then she'll let you know what the impact is to your P&L all along the way.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. That's like
Yeah.
having a coach in
That's
your
right.
back pocket to
That's right.
do, to guide you through the process.
Absolutely. And we are specialists in startups and small businesses.
Okay.
We go up to the mid-size, but we are specialists in helping startups and small businesses today. We also have the ability to help the mid-market
Mm-hmm.
company, but we really want to help small businesses where we believe that our services can be the most helpful very, very quickly.
So can you share maybe an example? You don't have to say their name, but kind of like industry or of a small business that has used that platform and how it's impacting their business now.
Yeah, so there's a number of them, and we actually, if you go on our website, we have a couple of customer testimonials there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the first one I'll give you is we had a company come to us, and some of the trouble was just around like aligning their team. They're a small team, and they just
Okay.
couldn't get everybody rowing in the same direction,
Mm-hmm.
and making decisions. So they came in and like, hey, Cora, the problem that I think I'm having is I can't get my team rowing in the same direction. And Cora takes them through a series of questions to identify that's the root cause of the
Wow.
problem. And then once they had that, they then get their set of recommendations. But what they uniquely got out of that was the ability to go in and not only make core changes within their team, but core changes in how they were communicating a few other elements to their customers about what
Wow.
they did as a service. So, I mean, it's all about augmenting human intelligence. Like the goal here is this is not a tool that's going to come in and take over and decide things for you. It's just going to give you the ability to go faster. It's going to take people who know a lot about their businesses. I know my business when I'm a small business. I've been doing
Yeah.
this. It's nothing that a machine is going to tell me. But what a machine can do is take my information in and give
Yeah.
me quality recommendations that are proven, right? And or to work and give me things to think about, give me things that I would otherwise have to take a lot of time to
Yeah.
compile in order to weigh whether or not I want to do those things, whether or not these things will make me grow. And a machine can help me to track that, right? And a
Wow.
machine can then come back and let me know what happened over time so that I can make the next set of decisions quickly, right? But it's still the human being. And
Yeah.
that's our goal, is just to augment that and really utilize real people to do that too. Like we have an expert network which contributes to what goes into our machine. So you're not just
That's
looking at
awesome.
AI alone. AI
Yeah.
is intelligent without human
People.
participation.
Yeah.
So that's
Wow.
what, yeah.
Wow. Well, congratulations. I think you're building the future of business. Um, and I'm curious to hear, what's your vision for this business? What's what that vision look like? Let's say 5 years from now, 10, 20 years from now. What does that look like in your head?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So within the next 5 years, I believe we're going to change the way people make growth-based decisions by having them focus on outcomes.
Mm,
So instead of being focused on just jumping into all the things that you're going to do, you're going to always understand what you're trying to achieve first. So your why and your purpose will be clear. There will be companies everywhere that understand their ultimate purpose in the world, and they'll be constantly looking at how they fulfill that purpose in the
yeah.
world. And that impact will be it'll make people better in general, right? It'll make better leaders, it'll make better companies, it'll make more sustainable companies, businesses will live longer.
Mm,
What we call a small business while we know that small businesses are the backbone of the economy
yeah.
in the US, it'll be that those businesses can also grow and scale in ways that we haven't seen before. And so I'm excited to see that happen. And I believe that it's going to happen fairly quickly with technologies like mine.
That's amazing. Now, if I'm really curious because as a tech founder, I'm sure you goes through a lot of your own lessons, challenges, right? Can you share what are some of the mistakes you made while building this? And then what are some of the lessons as well from those mistakes?
Yeah, I think the first core mistake I made was, I mean, I have a lot of experience, right? I worked for a really long time helping companies
Yeah.
to do the work I've now built technology to do. And so I came into my entrepreneurial experience building something specifically to meet my own need.
Mm,
And I didn't have enough diversity in my thinking initially, meaning I hadn't talked to enough people. But
mm,
I learned very quickly in the process, very early on, that customer discovery and talking to a lot of people who have the problems that I was proclaiming to solve, that I
yeah.
needed to go out and talk to them. And so I've probably spent the better half of the past year and a half talking to as many people as I can and understanding the problems from their lens and not just the
Mhm.
lens by which I serviced them in the past.
Mm,
And so that's my critical learning. The mistake was thinking that I knew, and as opposed to I understood. And kind of coming from the customer lens, it's not that I know, but that I understand,
Yeah.
right? I can help, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to help you, customer, in the way that you need to be helped. And that's very different than I got this tech and it's going to do these things for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it can help you to do a few things, right? But let's talk about who you are, right? Let's
Mm.
talk about what your needs are and then building from that perspective. So that's my key learning.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, if I'm a small business owner and I'm listening to this and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I need to get this tool, right? Before you share how do they get in touch with you and where they can get this, can you kind of give us that? What is that one small biz tips from all those conversation you had with business owners and your own experience? What is that one small biz tips that you would share with someone listening to this right now?
You know what? It's not a original. Know your numbers.
Okay.
Because otherwise you waste your resources. And the goal is to not waste resources. And resources is not just money, it's
Yeah.
also people, right? People doing things,
Yeah.
people investing their time, energy, and their own intelligence in supporting
Yeah.
your business. And you want to make the most of that every step of the way. So know the numbers so that you can protect the people, right?
That's amazing. I
That's
agree.
really,
I think a lot of owners don't know their numbers.
yeah.
And it's hindering the business, but they don't even realize that. So I think knowing your numbers is critical and it helps make better decision. You
That's
know,
exactly right. And we want to help you to do that.
I love it. So how do people get in touch with you? How do they even get access to this? Is it in beta or is it out for the world right now? Where is this? What's going on?
It's out for the world. And so you can reach us www.cmodel. Do you have to say that anymore? CModel.io. You don't have to
Okay.
say www.cmodel.io.
Mhm.
I'm also happy for anyone to email me directly at
Okay.
Teasha, TEASHA at CModel.io. So you can go to
Mm.
our website. There are forms there. Or feel free if it's easier to just send me an email. Happy to respond.
Fantastic guy. Check her out. We're talking C model, the letter C, right?
That's right.
Model model.io. So
That's
check out
correct.
this tool, connect with Teasha. As you can see, she is a wealth of knowledge. Thank you for jumping on. Thank you for sharing this technology with us. I think a lot of small business owners can benefit. All right,
Thank you.
guys, have a good one.
All right. Talk soon.